see how my latest videos are doing, and oh my god, Sean! What is it? We have 1,000 subscribers. Okay, we knew this day would come. We saw the subscriber count rising, but what do we do? Every Thomas episode, but only the word the? How about let's talk about our favorite films? You think 50 is enough? I don't know if you want to edit it. So this is a list of my top 50 favorite movies. Now this isn't a concrete list, it always fluctuates. I watch new movies and I put them on my list, booting some other movies off. But as of right now, here's my list. Number 50. Loving Vincent. This movie is literally a work of art. Every frame is a painting that somebody painted in the Van Gogh style. Well, there's also flashbacks, not in his style, but it's amazing to look at. And I even bought this big book. Well, granted it was $3 at Savers, but I bought this. This has every painting of his, and I bought it to see all the shots in the movie that they recreated from Van Gogh drawings, paintings. Number 49. The Lego Movie 2, the second part. Why, I know what you're thinking. Why is this movie on my list? Well, I really like the first Lego movie, and so when I watched this one, I enjoyed seeing the characters again and seeing the dynamic of the older brother and the Legos, and how the sister Legos are interfering with everything. And the songs in this are just amazing. Catchy song and super cool. I even listen to them just because I want to listen to them. Number 48, Nightmare Before Christmas. Just the Tim Burton style in this movie is so creative and iconic, and the songs and everything is just so good. Number 47, Pirates of the Caribbean, Curse of the Black Pearl. Now, this is the best in the franchise, I think, and I'm pretty sure everyone else thinks it. Now, I don't hate any of the other movies. I actually don't actively hate any movie. I mean, if I know I wouldn't like it, I don't see it. I mean, the characters, Jack Sparrow, amazing. Number 46 and number 45 are similar in the same way that I like them. Red 2 and Expendables 2. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. Why are these movies on my list? Well, they are basically my guilty pleasure action movies that I always go to if I just want to see just shooting and some good action. Number 44, Sherlock Holmes 2, A Game of Shadows. This movie, I always borrowed it from the library because also with Red 2, it's just a movie that I just liked to watch. This is better than the first one, and I'm really looking forward to the third one, 9 years in the making. Number 43, The Cat Returns. This is a Studio Ghibli movie. It's an anime made in Japan, and this is my fourth favorite of Studio Ghibli's movies. It's actually, I think, the most funny movie in their entire lineup. Just Carrie Elwes as this cat is amazing. And number 41 and 42 are similar as well. Modern Times and The Gold Rush. Yeah, I don't have the Criterion Blu-rays of Modern Times and The Gold Rush that are $25 each. These are my favorite silent movies. Now, I like other silent movies like Nosferatu and Metropolis, but they feel like they should be in sound, but Charlie Chaplin, his silent movies are just amazing, and they're also just really funny, even for being 80 or 90 years old. Number 40, It's a Wonderful Life. Yeah, the most classic Christmas movie ever. What else can I say? You just have to watch during Christmas time. Number 39, Forbidden Planet. When I first watched this, I just thought it would be just a 1950s B movie, but no, it was an A movie. The special effects are amazing. I mean, they're on the level of Star Wars, even though it came out 20 years before Star Wars. Number 38, Aliens. Yeah, I like Aliens more than Alien because I just like action more than horror. I just like all the sci-fi and how it just feels real and lived in. And of course, Sigourney Weaver and all the actors are just really good. Number 37, Star Wars. Now, I didn't grow up watching any of the Star Wars movies. I've only watched them recently, but I still like them, and I like this whole trilogy. But the first one, Star Wars, is just so classic. It's so iconic, and the special effects and the music are amazing. Yeah, it's Star Wars, what else can I say? Number 36, Mission Impossible Fallout. Yeah, this is one of the best action movies with some of the best action I've ever seen. And just Tom Cruise just throwing himself onto these stunts is just amazing. It's just so intense. Number 35, The Lion King. Yeah, I didn't grow up with watching most of the Disney movies. The only one I did grow up with was Mulan and some other not so good ones like Home on the Range and Pooh's Heffalump Halloween movie. But the songs and the animation are just amazing, and yeah, I still haven't seen the remake, and I don't plan to. Number 34, School of Rock. This is just such a feel-good movie. I mean, everyone is good in the movie. I mean, Jack Black is just so funny, and the kids are not bad as well, and it's just a perfect movie to watch anytime. Number 33, Toy Story. Yeah, this isn't one of my favorite Pixar movies, but it's high up there. I mean, it could have been so bad. Just the first CG animated movie aimed at kids. I'm just so glad that this turned out really good, and it made Pixar into one of the best studios on the planet. Number 32, Close Encounters of the Third Kind. When I first watched this movie, I mean, I loved it. I was just in awe of the ending. The last, 30 or 20 minutes with all the aliens and the was just amazing. The aliens playing tuba notes and stuff. But rewatching it, there's large portion in the middle where it's kind of drags along, where the main characters get visions about the Devil's Tower and stuff, but the finale is worth the wait. Number 31, Holiday Inn. It's just such a classic movie, even though I don't think anyone really knows about it. It's about Fred Astaire and Bing Crosby. Only Bing Crosby makes a Holiday Inn that is open at only holidays. And so that gives opportunities for just really good songs and the set to be holiday themed, and just all the songs made by Irving Berlin are just amazing. Number 30, Hugo. I was on a silent movie binge a couple of years ago, and I researched all about the silent movies, and I found Georges Méliès, and he made just so much creative silent movies in literally the 1900s, like 1902. A Trip to the Moon is amazing. This movie pays tribute to him, and it's directed by Martin Scorsese, so it looks amazing. It looks just so clean, but also beautiful. This is actually my favorite Martin Scorsese movie, probably because it's just a kid's movie, and I don't think I would want to watch Silence or The Wolf of Wall Street. Yeah, I don't think so, but I like this one. Good, now move on. Okay. 29. Number 29, Chicago. This is my favorite Best Picture winner. Yeah, because Sean, my brother, was on a Best Picture binge a couple of weeks ago. I mean, he wanted to see all the Best Picture winners, and I thought they would just be all boring, like just pretentious movies that just wanted the Oscar. And so when he borrowed this from my public library, I thought it was just going to be like boring, so I'll just might as well watch it. But no, the songs and are just amazing. I mean, all that jazz and we both reach for the gun. That's one of the best scenes in movie history. I mean, we bought the soundtrack on CD, and I still listen to it every time I go out in my car. Number 28, Tropic Thunder. This is such a funny movie. It's about these 5 actors that have no idea what they're doing. They have to go into Vietnam and just survive and pretend that they're making a movie, even though the director gets blown up. Except that I like all of the characters except for Ben Stiller, the main character. I mean, he's kind of an idiot, and I like Robert Downey Jr. and Jack Black and everyone else a little bit more, but it's still really funny. Number 27, Princess Mononoke. See, I told you there would be more anime on this list. It's so action-packed, and it's so beautiful. And it's also PG-13, so it's kind of dark in some spots. Yeah, everything you've heard about this movie, if you've heard anything, is correct. Number 26, Mulan. This is kind of the only good Disney movie of the Disney Renaissance that I grew up watching, and it's really good. Yeah, the action is great, and Mulan as a character, how she grows, is just amazing, and I think it's one of the best Disney movies ever made. Number 25, WALL-E. Yeah, just how they made robots with very little expressions be so expressive, just amazing. And the world that they created, it's so just expansive and so creative. It's basically epic, an epic kids movie. And another Pixar movie, number 24, Finding Nemo. I basically grew up with Pixar instead of Disney, and this is one of the movies we just watched a lot. Number 23, Them. Yeah, this is a 1950s B movie, and it's about giant ants. So how could it be this good? Well, I knew very little before watching it. I only knew that it had giant ants. I didn't even know what the ants looked like. But the opening 25 minutes is so intriguing and suspenseful. I mean, I was actually really invested. And then when the ants did come up, they were all practical, and they looked actually good for 1954. And at the end, like the last 10 minutes is just nonstop action, just guns blazing, just blowing up ants. It's really intense. Number 22, the Back to the Future trilogy. Yeah, I like all 3 of these movies as its own whole thing. The first one is so just classic and perfect, and the second one is kind of complicated but really imaginative, and the third one is an underrated Western. Number 21, 12 Angry Men. This is a movie where it all takes place in one room. It's about 12 jurors trying to figure out if one kid is innocent or guilty of killing his father. So it's really suspenseful in some spots, and it's never boring, even though it's literally all talking. Number 20, Young Frankenstein. This movie is just so funny, and it's also so spooky. I mean, they really got the style of 30s movies, even though it was 1970s. Every scene is just iconic and so funny. Number 19, Ratatouille. For some reason, I like this a little more than WALL-E and Finding Nemo. I just like this for some reason a little bit more because the animation is amazing and the food just looks exquisite. Number 18, Toy Story 2. Yeah, I like Toy Story 2 better than Toy Story. And this, it just takes toys being alive and expands that idea for like lots of new ideas that you would think about. Like, what happens if a collector gets a toy? And what happens if a toy goes out in the real world? And what happens if a toy gets put in a museum and stuff. Number 17, The Adventures of Tintin. Some people say that motion capture looks uncanny and creepy. Just watch this movie. Everything looks realistic, and some shots just look live action. Like, there's some shots of people walking. It's just amazing. And since it's a Spielberg movie, the adventure and the story is really entertaining. Number 16, Zombieland. This is just one of my go-to feel-good action movies that I grew up watching. Well, grew up as a teen watching. I like this for the same reason as Red 2, Expendables 2, and Sherlock Holmes 2. They're just go-to action movies so that I could just watch whenever. It's also really funny as well. Number 15, Kingsman, The Secret Service. This is one of the best action movies I've ever seen. The action is so intense and riveting. I mean, the church scene, all in one shot with Freebird playing. I mean, I wish I could make a movie with that action scene. It's so stylish and also just actually really funny. Number 14, The Wizard of Oz. What else can I say? It's so classic and so colorful. It doesn't even feel like it's 81 years old as of 2020. If you see this movie on Blu-ray or 4K, it's amazing. It just takes you back, and it just pulls you into the world of Oz. Number 13, Spirited Away. This is one of the best animated movies of all time, and it's just stop.
You wrote what you said on there, right?
Stop. Number 13, Spirited Away. Now, I've never seen an anime before I watched this movie. I watched this movie in a theater when they were playing just a bunch of Studio Ghibli movies. Yeah, this was one of the last ones they did, and if I watched this one, I would have watched every single other one in the theater, but oh well. It's just, I saw all the weird, crazy just characters and all the magic up on the big screen. It's so atmospheric and just so creative, but just don't expect to have everything explained, because nothing is explained. Number 12, Castle in the Sky. This is my favorite Studio Ghibli movie. I honestly like it more than Spirited Away. It's more exciting and action-packed and less weird. There's less weird characters and character designs. It's a straightforward fantasy adventure story. I mean, the characters are all likable, and it's always constantly engaging. There's never a dull moment. Well, if there's a slow moment, it's just to have a breather from the epic action. If you think that you don't like anime, watch this movie first, and if you like this, then watch Spirited Away. Number 11, Die Hard with a Vengeance. Yeah, I actually kind of grew up with this movie. Well, not grew up, I watched it as a teenager, the same way I watched like Zombieland and Red 2 and Expendables 2, but this is actually a really good movie. I like this more than the original Die Hard. Bruce Willis and Samuel Jackson are just amazing. We're getting down to it. Number 10, Kill Bill. It's my favorite Quentin Tarantino movie. The revenge story of Beatrix Kiddo, also known as The Bride, is just so amazing. Just the action is so bloody, but it's just so good. You just want to see her just hack down everyone. Number 9, Shrek 2. This is just such a good movie and such a good sequel. It just expands everything from the story. It's one of the best sequels of all time. Everything in Shrek world is just expanded on, and it's just so funny. Number 8, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. Yeah, I'm one of the people that like Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade more than Raiders of the Lost Ark. Probably because I think I just watched it more as a kid, so I'm a little more nostalgic for it. and because I think it has everything that made Raiders of the Lost Ark amazing. Great action, a great story, great characters, as well as Sean Connery. Number 7, the Cornetto Trilogy. Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, and World's End. I know it's 3 movies, but I don't care. It's my list. These movies are each different, but they're each on the same level of awesomeness. I think whichever movie you've watched the most recently is the one where you would think it's the best. Number 6, Monsters, Inc. This is my second favorite Pixar movie, and this is so nostalgic for me. I remember watching the VHS as a kid just over and over again. I would watch all the bloopers at the end, all the intros and commercials at the beginning. I would even just watch it rewinding for some reason. This is about a company full of monsters that scare kids for energy, and then there's corruption in the company where you think it's Randall, but it's also the head guy, Mr. Waternoose. I mean, it could have been just so boring, but it's Pixar. It's just so good. The characters are so good, and the character designs, they basically base it off of what kids draw as monsters. So it's just so creative and amazing. Number 5, Arrival. This isn't your typical sci-fi alien movie. It's slow and character driven, but it's always engaging. The aliens they look really cool and really unique. Number 4, Clue. It's just so funny. Even though the jokes aren't laugh out loud funny, you just have to think about the jokes, and then that just makes them even more funny. The characters are all amazing. They all act so well. Madeline Kahn and Tim Curry are just amazing. We're getting down to the wire. Number 3, the Lego Movie. Yeah, I told you that I liked the Lego Movie, but I bet you didn't know that I liked it. My 3rd best movie of all time. When I first watched the trailer of this movie, I knew I would love it. I actually thought it was stop motion for like a few months. I was only 13, and my wee little brain didn't think that it could have been just a cash grab, and it didn't even cross my mind. But I'm so glad it wasn't, because it's just so creative. The animation is amazing, and it's just so funny. Just, you could watch it over and over again and keep finding new things, like hidden animation things in the background. Number 2, The Incredibles. This is one of the best movies of all time. Just the action is amazing. The characters and the characters' drama are just so amazing. I mean, there's lots of scenes in this movie where nothing happens except for characters talking about the drama in their family, and it's just constantly engaging. I loved this as a kid, and I didn't even know that it was just adult and stuff. I was just invested in the characters. It's just so amazing. And my number 1 favorite movie of all time. Is it another animation? Is it a action movie you didn't know I liked? Well, no. It's Coraline. I just love the stop motion animation of this movie. It's so creative. The imagery and design of this movie is just amazing. Now, I don't think I'm not really creeped out by it. I don't think it's super creepy. I just like the designs of this movie. Just for some reason, I just love this movie. So that was my top 50 favorite movies of all time. Why top 50? Well, because top 100 would be too long. And, 25 minutes. This video is getting pretty long, so I'll stop it here. Thank you, everyone, for watching my videos and subscribing to my channel. So here's to another 1,000, or maybe even 100,000, or 1,000,000! No, that's not gonna happen. Wait. I want to talk about my 50 favorite films. No. I already spent like 3 hours editing this video. I'm not gonna do any more. Yeah, you will. Oh, really? Stay tuned for the next video where I talk about my 50 favorite films and also a Blu-ray update.